Okay, so we're going to show you how to put down a basic base here with the changes in 1.3 for console, for the PlayStation 5, the Xbox, and for the PC, but PC's had this longer than we have, so they probably already know. But this one's for us. If you're just getting started, I think rope and logs are going to be your key factors here to at least get to that 1,000-ish tier of HP for the base. We're going to show you a couple different tricks. You probably already know, but if you don't, it'll be nice to pass this one along, because I think it's quite critical if you're going to be putting down a base, especially if you need maximum protection for very little resources. So I would say try to find a location that's good for you, like on a good loot route. You don't have to make anything big. As you can see here in my inventory, I don't know, this is probably a terrible place for me to stop and check, but we're going to. In my inventory, we have 180 logs, some twig, 4 parts, which are now how we craft door locks. This should be enough to get us started. The next tier after this is going to be planks and nails, which are a bit harder to get because you can no longer buy nails at the outpost. You have to just accumulate them. But as you heard me say before, the best place to get those is usually those red brick houses or construction zones. Place down some sleeping bags and just continuously cycle those until you get enough of the nails. Just keep hitting them. Like, I know in the very beginning none of us really have any location, so the best thing to do is grab nails and take them to your safe zones in the north or south and just store it. I think that's the best way to go. Okay, so I'm crossing a very hostile zone. I'm choosing to go a bit more aggro with my location. I'm going to be closer to the airfield. I wouldn't advise it for first-time players. It is fun, but you're probably going to get raided. Oh, no. It's not good. I'm going to try to hit him. Okay, here we go. Ouch. Alright, somebody already ran through here. That's scary. So I'm going to try to find a place that's relatively flat or kind of like a bowl shape. For the most part, you want something flat for the trick we're going to do. We're going to have raised foundations that are actually going to make it a bit easier for us to have more HP for nothing. And for me personally, I like food sources. So around some like tall reed areas around the water is usually pretty good for me. This is a nice little hot scrap zone. I kind of love this. There is a raid happening. I think 2 raids happening around here, so I have to be very careful while we do this. Loot? Don't mind if I do. By the way, if you're looking for the new construction materials, brick or cement, cement is made by putting bricks in your cement mixer. So they're essentially these kind of piles. They just are a stack of bricks. I see them in the higher loot zones like airfield. There's some behind some of the hangars if you're looking by the construction, or not the construction crates, the cargo crates. I'm going to stash this in the trees, and we're going to do our best to put this down and not get clipped. I'd like to have this base here not as a main, but as a, oh my goodness, as a place for us to store our loot as we're going out. That was crazy. It's crazy we're doing this. Okay, so you want to really have an axe with you and a knife. Preferably either a improvised backpack if you can, or whatever you can swing, because you need a little bit of space. What we're going to do is we're going to slash a couple bushes and look over our shoulders, make sure we're not going to get smoked. So we do have a lot of new features here with this. We have new tiers. We have cement tier, and we have the log tier. Log tier essentially replaces the twig tier. I'm going to try to get like 400-ish. The cement tier is like end game, and if you look, as I said before, to get concrete, you need to put bricks inside the concrete mixer. Look at the cost on that. 40 military electronics. That's where you go into bunkers and stuff. That's crazy, right? And I don't think there's any cement mixers you can just openly use, like public ones, on the map. So just keep that in mind. So, yeah. When you want to plan for your next move, just know you're going to have to rotate those pretty heavily. But we're going to do the beginner stuff here. Since we have 4 different parts here, we're going to just start crafting some base locks. There's 1, 2, 3 for now. Then we're going to, since we have enough twig, we're going to do 1 store box, which is essentially your TC. That should be no surprise. Twig, we need enough twig to basically just set up the framework. This is a lot more like Rust now, where you're going to have to kind of frame things up, and twig is very easy to destroy. By the way, solid note I should probably put out there. Let's put down a sleeping bag. Call this alt base. You're probably going to want to put one inside of the base. But don't forget to put your sleeping bags down, especially with the cooldowns. Okay. I think this area is still not very hidden. Actually, we might hit the trees here, but we really just need a flat zone, so maybe we just slap it here for now. Yeah, this might be the best. It's super open. I don't like that. I like to be in the trees. We're essentially going to be a 1x2 with raised foundations around it. So essentially what I would do is go around to every like patrol you see, find any clothing you're not using, tear up and stack. And when you tear them up, they usually go on the ground, so be sure to back up and pick them back up. Like, just save your rags. Every 2 rags equals a rope. You're going to need roughly about 26 to get started. So essentially, over 50 cloth. I'm debating whether or not to do it down here. Do we say make the hammer? Make the hammer. It's going to make those honeycombs. Beautiful. Triangles, half walls. Beautiful. Triangle floor. Awesome. And the foundations cost the same whether they're triangles or square, just something to keep in mind. Maybe we do slap it down here. Let me just take a look at the edge of the water here and see what we're looking at. Realistically, you're probably going to want to set up a base like this. Not to mention, if you stick a tree or a bush through your base, guess what? Free loot all the time. So essentially what we're going to do is we're not going to mess with the triangle foundations this time because we're not really going to be making honeycomb. We're just going to be doing like the core part of the bunker. Yeah, this is actually very flat. This will work. And we could have some trees. Alright, so essentially where the main loot room is going to be, I'm going to try to make it as flat as possible. So right about here. This will be the staircase that goes up. And let's just test to make sure everything's green here. Oh yeah, and our ability to make 2 high walls and people not climb in is null because... You ready for this? You ready for this? What do we have here in the raid category now? Ladders. So that's gone. Another reason why we make these squares and not triangles here is because we like to stick a lot of our boxes and whatnot in the foundations, and it makes for some pretty heady ways to store your loot. As a matter of fact, that sticks out on that side. Let me just test this real quick. This is actually good that we're messing this up pretty good. By the way, this is just like rust. 15 minutes in a cement, so you can't make changes after that. Essentially, is what that means. If we raise that foundation, that's good. We'll keep it simple, I guess. Kind of leaving the base floor a bit more open so we can do our thing. And then anything around this, we will put the triangles if we wanted to. Okay, let me go first person. It makes it a little bit easier. We're going to stick... I'm not going to go to the left because I only have supplies to do so many upgrades here. Because you essentially cannot leave this as twig. We're going to push this all the way back. Sadly, our building foundations popping in and out has not been fixed. Okay, so that's good there. Let me set my control to me. Okay, right away, since we have the supplies on us, we're just going to go right for the upgrades for the major pieces, which is going to be... I did select the floor, right? Like I'm not... Oh yeah, we got to put up the scaffold. Come on, have I never built before? Lace is out. Then let's make the door. And let's go ahead and put our door lock on. I'm going to hide that, alright? You can't see that. That's top secret. Okay, that's set. We should be good. One thing we should probably worry about right away is get the scaffold off the rip. If somebody raids you now, then it's probably not a safe place for you to build. Do hostile if you're trying to get started. Let's find the scaffold. There it is. Upgrade. Door upgrade. Foundation, foundation, foundation. And then let's get a ceiling tile down. And then at least we're kind of safe. Still no airlock, but better than nothing. So right now that cost us what? We came in with 26. That cost us 10 rope. Yeah, we should probably upgrade the foundation, but... So look at that. 10 rope and what? A handful of logs and some twigs. We're all set. By the way, don't forget this. Put your upkeep in because your base decays extra fast. So I'm going to break off most of this. And same with this. See, we're good for 50 days. Okay, no, 3 days. Okay. So the idea here is, I don't know if we have enough rope to do this, but is to make the staircase that goes up and then make an airlock on top of this. It's a bit more expensive, but hey, if you're just getting started, this is enough to at least keep them off your back for now. And already we're down to 10. What we can do here is make our ladder. I'm sorry, stairs. It's dangerous having your door open, but let's be honest, we don't have anything inside to steal. Usually I put all my workbenches down here. That seems to be the new way for us to do it. I like that. And again, you can already see the next upgrade is going to be planks and then nails. Duly noted, remember, collect those nails, stick them in your storage, around the map, north and south. And here's the thing, you can find wood planers across the map. Well, I guess they're not shown on my legend. Great. Anyways, there's some wood planers in this town. Yeah, they're really not showing up. But essentially, you take logs, stick them in the wood planer, you're good to go. But if you're doing it on your base, you're going to need a generator, 3 spare parts, 3 scrap, and gasoline. And then you have your wood planer, scrap metal, 10 logs, and then once you run this, then you can run the wood planer. Then you have unlimited wood planks. And as long as you can fuel the nails, you're good to go. You can see why we didn't really hang anything else out on the outside here. We might have enough for the airlock. Let's give it a shot. Alright, so here's kind of the same idea. We have a door here. As long as we put a box on top, we're good to go. Whoops, not a half wall. Don't do that. Place is out. Dan Marino. And it's really sensitive if you let go of the thumbstick really fast. People do be getting raided. Alright, back to the upgrade. Then we'll go here and just upgrade for 1. Open it up. I don't know how much we have on tap. Close that. We have 8 left. 8 rope. There's 1, 2. Oh, we have just enough with 26. That's crazy. Okay, let's stick that door lock on. We have an airlock. Actually, I'm amazed by that. So, like I said before, we'll take things like the wood planer. We'll just craft one now. And what I like to do is I like to kind of jam it under the staircase. And again, as long as we're not hanging anything off in this diagonal corner, we kind of just keep things here for now. Because remember, we don't have any coverage beyond that. Should be good to go. As a matter of fact, you know what? I might have to do it this way for now. And then we'll go outside to double check nothing's hanging out. Bingo. And then you can stick like your generator there. And then we can plane the wood, the logs, into planks. Then you can put shelving units here and then actually play. Oh, you can kind of see on the outside. That's helpful. So essentially, tear up all clothing, turn it into rope, or just keep it as rags. Store it in your storage units. That's the most valuable thing you have. Next one is nails. Probably nails is the most valuable, and then cloth and rope. So keep that in mind. Again, you don't need a base to store it. Just hit your north or south storage zones. They are separate zones, but they are unraidable locations. And then since you can actually grapple up foundations 1 high, you're good to go. Now, this is not invincible. You definitely want to upgrade this to plank and nails as soon as you can, at least these core spots that are logs. First, and again, don't forget to upgrade your scaffold, your edges of your doors, but this is a great way to get you started in the 1.3 update for Deadside on console edition, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and all that good stuff. And now we're at a ample location for the old airfield, and we can just be running those routes.